it is working as an A2A receptor ligand or A2A receptor agonist. So by binding to the A2A receptor, it is able to regulate the cytokines in an anti-inflammatory action, increase the VEGF for angiogenesis, and also increase the growth factor for increase of collagen production or ECM deposition. The second part is the salvage pathway. I'll explain that a little bit later, where the nucleotides are actually broken down and used in DNA repair. As I explained earlier, PDRN is the basis of where Regeneron came from, and the A2A receptors are involved in cellular proliferation, tissue repair. There are many papers, this is just a few, helpful in healing wounds with diabetic foot ulcers, healing skin grafts, corneal epithelial regeneration, and we actually have a Regeneron eye drop, which is PDRN, and angiogenesis and burn treatment. So this is the PDRN action, okay, just to make sure clear. Salvage pathway, this paper was done in vitro, so it's very interesting. They took the fibroblasts and they exposed them to ultraviolet radiation, which causes these thymine dimers. And through these dimers, that actually impedes replication and transcription. P53 proteins were necessary for the removal of the CPDs, and so they did a control. Cells exposed to UV radiation, treated with PDRN and non-treated. And what they found is that the cells that were treated with PDRN actually had lower CPDs and a higher P53. So this is very interesting because what this means that on a DNA level, that PDRN might have the potential to reverse the DNA damage, which is very, very promising, something that we haven't seen in other products. We also have this paper which shows that PDRN helps to increase mitochondrial biogenesis, and we know that it's very important in inflammation. You know, inflammation is how most of the processes involved with aging has an inflammatory process at its root. And in that inflammation, senescence, which we explained earlier, and mitochondrial metabolic changes are very, very key. So this PDRN can also help to reduce this inflammation that we see. Pigmentations, there are these two papers. I'm not going to go into depth on this, but using it for pigmentations can also be beneficial. This is just a very simple case. Rejoined healer, 3 sessions, 1 month interval. She had some recalcitrant melasma here in pre-zygomal area. It's got a little better here. This is on the Vizia. You can see the difference. Infraorbital area pigmentation, a little improvement. It's nothing very dramatic, but still you can see the improvement in the Vizia. There's also a very interesting paper showing that it can help with obesity, in the sense of that it can induce white to brown adipose differentiation. So who knows in the future, using PDRN or PN can also maybe help with obesity in the future by edible. And in Korea, actually, we do have edible Regeneron, but it's not the same polynucleotide. Again, it's a